Good afternoon, and thank you all for joining us. I am very proud to have joining us today our partners in our entire public safety partnership. We're joined by the District Attorney of Orleans Parish, and certainly our council member for this council district. I'm joined by my Deputy Chief of Operations, the Commander of the 1st District. We have representatives from the 1st District in the General Assignment and Detective Unit, but we're also joined by members of the ATF and the DEA, who are all here witness, which all make up the public safety partnership. And so we're here today to announce the indictments and arrests of 8 members of the so-called D Block gang on drug and racketeering charges. Through their lawless actions, this group of individuals has spread fear throughout the 1st District neighborhood to further their criminal enterprise. In July of 2017, members of the 1st District General Assignment Unit, with the assistance of ATF and DEA and our DA's office, began a narcotics investigation in the area of the 25 and 2600 block of Dumaine Street, where we are standing right now. During this time, the investigating officers identified 9 suspects that were responsible for distributing narcotics within these very blocks. On May 9th, 2018, this group of investigators were able to secure state grand jury indictments for 9 subjects for conspiracy to engage in racketeering acts. The Special Operations Division, or members of our SWAT team, executed search warrants on 2 target locations. Right here in the 2500 block of Dumaine, Special Operations officers located 2 of the arrested subjects, Glenn McCormick, also known as Spot, and Derek Broomfield, also known as Young Boy, as they attempted to flee the residence through a rear door. A search of the residence uncovered 10.36 grams of heroin, various drug paraphernalia, and nearly $9,000 in currency. Also, while at the station, it was discovered that Mr. McCormick was secreting a large bag of heroin inside of his rectum, which he secreted in the rear of a police vehicle. As the search warrant was being executed in the 2500 block of Dumaine, members of the 1st District conducted a traffic stop of another target identified as Lawrence Conway, also known as Lowe, who was under surveillance. A search incidental to his arrest revealed Conway to be in possession of 55 bags of heroin, totaling 13.20 grams packaged for sale. 1st District officers also conducted a traffic stop of Teron Blackman, also known as T, who was also under surveillance, and a search incidental to his arrest revealed that Blackman was in possession of 1.16 grams of heroin and $327 in U.S. currency. Special Operations also executed yet another search warrant in the 600 block of North Gayoso Street, the residence of Wayman Williams, and then 1st District officers confiscated a quantity of unknown pills but did not locate Williams during the search, but he was later apprehended. Johnny Johnson, also known as J5, remains at large and will be located by the Vials Unit, and if there's anyone who knows his whereabouts, they can contact members of the 1st District right away, or they can contact Crime Stoppers to do it anonymously. So the subjects used the rap group moniker Money Wave as a front to cover and to conspire to distribute marijuana, cocaine, heroin, ecstasy, tramadol, and Percocets, mainly in the 25 and 2600 blocks of Dumaine Street. These individuals now face multiple charges, especially narcotics and distribution of narcotics. The successful conclusion of this investigation, which culminated in the incidents and indictments of these individuals, is a testament to the close, collaborative, and productive working relationship enjoyed by all the agencies you see standing here represented today. The partnership NOPD is honored to share with these agencies continues to grow while we conduct future interagency operations, which is a great benefit to the citizens of New Orleans, more specifically to the residents who live here near the 25 and 2600 block of Dumaine. So we're proud to have this partnership, and we're proud to announce the indictments and the rest of these individuals who believe were terrorizing and committing acts that produce fear in this neighborhood. They are now behind bars, and we hope to get this last person in custody very soon. I want to turn it over to my colleague and partner, Mr. Leon Cannizzaro, our district attorney, for any further remarks.
Thank you very much, Chief. I too would like to congratulate you. I'd like to congratulate your Deputy Chief, Paul Noel. I'd like to congratulate the commander of the 1st District, Hans Ganthier. And I'd also like to congratulate and thank Sergeant Joe Davis. It was his platoon in the 1st District, his individuals who went out and actually did a lot of the hard and heavy lifting with regard to this case. You know, one of the sad things about this case is when we look at this indictment, the individuals who have been indicted for these charges were individuals who were not from this neighborhood. They are people who came into this part of town from outside of this area of the city. And unfortunately, as many of us know, individuals who consume narcotics, who are the purchasers of narcotics, also come into neighborhoods where they believe narcotics are being sold, not normally in their own neighborhood. So essentially, you're bringing in strangers who are narcotics dealers, and you're bringing in strangers who are narcotics users. That makes this very quiet and safe neighborhood a very dangerous place. It makes it almost impossible for the people who live in this neighborhood, the homeowners, the residents, and the taxpayers to enjoy their own neighborhood. They're not able to sit on the steps of their house or sit on the porch of their homes and enjoy their other neighbors. The children who live in this neighborhood are not able to ride their bikes and mingle with other children in the neighborhood. Again, narcotic dealing in these neighborhoods in the city of New Orleans is an extremely dangerous and serious crime. And I am very thankful for the very, very hard work of the police department. And I'm also very thankful that we have been able to partner with our federal partners in the ATF and the DEA to bring these individuals under indictment. What's also very sad about this case, ladies and gentlemen, is if you look at 4 or 5 of the individuals who have been indicted in this case, you will find that this is not the first time they have been charged with these types of offenses. Several of them have been arrested at least 3 and 4 times for the very same charges for which they're indicted now. And they have made bond, and they have been able to get back out on the streets and go back out and do the same thing. It doesn't do our police department, it doesn't do our law enforcement partners any good to go out and arrest people unless we're willing to keep them in jail. I am hopeful that the judges who will be considering these bonds in these cases today will keep these individuals locked up. Clearly, they pose a danger to our society. They pose a very particular danger to the people in this neighborhood, and they should not be allowed to be back out on the streets on bond, because as the chief told you, when they were arrested in connection with these charges, they were still in possession of heroin, guns, and large quantities of money. So these individuals are dangerous, and they're going to continue to be a danger to our community. Thank you.
Councilmember?
Well, just to add to the chief and the DA's points, today reduces a crime element in this particular neighborhood of District D, and it will bring the efforts by the DEA, the police department, our 1st District, ATF, will bring peace of mind to the citizens that's living throughout this area. We want to have a thriving neighborhoods throughout the city with no crime. And today's efforts definitely brings us a step forward. And I just want to thank all the law enforcement partners, Commander Ganthier of the 1st District, and the men and women of the New Orleans Police Department for bringing us to this step today, as well as District Attorney Leon Cannizzaro for their efforts as well. Thank you.
So once again, we want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank the men and women behind me and all who participated, whether they are NOPD, whether they're with ATF or DEA, or any of our partners in the entire public safety partnership. And certainly having a great relationship with the district attorney has paid off and continues to pay off and be a very good thing for the citizens of New Orleans. To the citizens of New Orleans, we heard you. We heard your complaints. We always have, we always will. And this is our promise to you. And this is us delivering on a promise that we're going to do something about it, and that we're going to go after those individuals who are terrorizing our citizens. And to the message to anybody who thinks that they want to live that lifestyle, sell drugs, commit violence, and terrorize their citizens, you will not get away with it. If crime is the life you choose, then we're going to make sure that prison will be the price you pay. Thank you.
Quick question. So is there specific reasons or
We get complaints all the time. They come directly to the police department. Sometimes they go to Crime Stoppers. We act on those complaints. And sometimes we're able to build quality cases working with the district attorney and the U.S. attorney where we can find that we can produce a RICO investigation or a racketeering investigation and put a bunch of cases together to make one case against a group. Sometimes there are drug dealing complaints that come in about individuals. This was about a group or gang. And so that's what made us focus on that, plus this neighborhood. And it was a long-term investigation that culminated recently with the indictments and the arrests.
But I guess there's no schematic that says, for whatever reason, the people who are buying and selling drugs are flocking to a neighborhood where the neighbors have nothing to do with it, right?
Well,
is there any way to say why is it happening in my neighborhood?
we will investigate every complaint that comes in. And sometimes criminals will make decisions on their own, and it's hard to know why they make the decisions they make and why they choose the areas they choose. We're going to protect every neighborhood, and when we get complaints that drug activity and violence is occurring in a particular neighborhood, we're going to go investigate that. And when we find the answers to those questions, we're going to enforce it and make those who are responsible for it, we're going to make them pay for their actions.
And then we're saying that we don't want these people to come, these criminals to make bail, to come back out on the streets to do what they've been doing, what they've been prosecuted for doing beforehand. So what is the solution?
Well, as the DA said, and we stand with that, we want to make sure that when we do our part and then we produce these quality investigations and then we remove these violent offenders from the streets of New Orleans and rid the neighborhood of the drug dealing that the citizens so badly want done, we would hope that they would not come out of jail and repeat those bad behaviors as they have, and then we caught them yet again, this time with an indictment on a racketeering investigation.
Is there like rehab or something that you might suggest or options?
Well, there's always rehab for those that are addicted, but what we're dealing with right now are offenders who are actually selling and the distributors of those narcotics.
About 1 year.
Come on, Commander.
It's been anywhere between a year to 8 months to a year time. So this was taking quite a bit of time to put together. An exact count we don't have, but we were successful in seizing over $26,000 over several cases altogether, and 13 guns altogether within this investigation. So actual street amount, we won't be able to tell you till all that weight is in.
I think a more important assessment than the street value of the drugs, which is important, the people who were moving these drugs and the people who were selling drugs and contributing to the addictions of our city are now behind bars. And so we've been able to remove those persons responsible for it, which is as big, if not a bigger value.
Chief, have not been any investigations into whether any violent crime in this area has any connection to any of these suspects or this block group?
That there's always that assessment that we make between individuals we arrest and crimes that they committed. As the DA said, these individuals were arrested, many of them multiple times for the same violations, and whether or not they're tied to violent crime, sometimes we are able to make that right away. Sometimes that takes time. And over time, we'll be able to make a more accurate assessment on whether the violence was associated to these individuals.
Is this case ongoing or?
I would say it is ongoing until they're all convicted.
They are indicted right now as a group. They're all joined in one indictment, and at this point in time, we are prepared to go forward with them as a group of 9 defendants.
Anything else?
One is still at large. That's correct.
Any other questions? Thank you.
All right. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.